Let's take a look. Oh, they're nerfing Ezreal and Leona, but not Jhin. Okay. Okay, let's see. I mean, like, I'm going to go over the patch, but I kind of just want to see mostly what's relevant to me, right? Some stuff in this game definitely needs to be changed, but trying to see it from the lens of like an 80 carry player. Oh, okay. They're buffing Akali. I think people could have mixed feelings about Akali, but I think she's fun to watch and competitive. I think she's really bullshit in solo queue because the chance that Akali snowballs out of control in solo queue is really high. And yeah, there's some counterplay to her and stuff. Like she is very squishy. She is very vulnerable to getting like killed in her shroud by like random damage or CC'd when she's out of her shroud. But the windows she has to kill you are pretty bullshit, to be honest. And buying MR doesn't really change anything. You're gonna go from dying in 3 hits to dying in 4 hits, which doesn't change too much. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of mixed on this. I do think it's going to be good for competitive, so that'll be fun. The R damage buff is nutty. Yes, yeah, it's pretty big. Oh wow, it's pretty big. It's a lot early game. Yeah. Okay, Aurora. We're doing a customary first patch follow-up on League's newest champion, adding some quality of life to make sure the newest member of Anima Squad even smoother to play. So what did she get? Passive move speed decreased and Spirit bonus formula changed. Q recast delay decreased. Okay. Oh wow, she can just like kind of just immediately pull her Q. W cooldown increased and invis break timing adjusted. Invis breaking on auto attacks will not happen on the launch of an auto instead of pre-attack. Okay. So it's more like Vayne in that case then. E dash speed decreased, R damage increased. So more damage, less healing, more snappiness to her abilities. And what E dash decreased. Okay, so she dashes a little slower on her E, making her a little easier to hit. But no, I think Aurora has potential to be really good. Asol is nerfed. Wow, okay. Good. Fuck Asol, man. That's all I have to say. That champ's just not fun to play against at all. Cassio. Interesting. They are nerfing her late game, and they're buffing her early game. There's not too many Cassio players, and there's not too much Cassio overall, so I think it could be cool if she's picked here and there. Cassio's a fun champ to watch, and when you play against her, you feel like it's relatively fair because you can dodge her Q and you cannot play her ulti, so it feels pretty interactive. Ezreal Q is getting nerfed. Not too bad, honestly. Only 10% AD ratio, which okay, actually, when you're at like 480, ends up being like 40 damage off, but I am not concerned that Ezreal's too strong of a pick in pro play. To be honest. But, you know, that's Riot's opinion. Irelia's early game has two small issues. First, she has too little control over winning and losing her matchups. Second, her overall sustain is so high, it's often hard to interact with her as an opponent. Yeah, I mean, Aurelia is a stat checker, 100%, and she usually wins a stat check early. Making her poked out. Okay, yeah. I think changing the sustain on her Q could help as well, so she doesn't just like heal off waves that easily. Leona getting nerfed. Everyone expected this. Everyone knew this was going to happen. Wow, they barely changed her, to be honest. That's it? Oh, really? That's it? 20 damage off of her W at max rank? That's it? Level 5, 10 damage off her that's nothing. 10 damage off of her W. I mean, a huge percentage of her damage comes from passive, and that barely got changed. It's not much. Not much. I think she'll feel about the same. She's very they didn't want to touch her tankiness, what they said. They didn't want to. They want to keep her durability intact, so she's gonna be still really tanky, and she's still gonna do good damage. Just 10 off, like in that early phase of the game, is kind of whatever. Wow, are you serious? They're buffing Shyvana E. Why does it say E damage increase? R empowered damage. Oh, they nerfed the AP ratio of it. Dude, I really don't like this like summary. If you just read the summary, you said, oh, they buffed her E, right? But like they're actually changing it so the AP build is less strong on her E. It's very weird that they just only wrote this part. Like it's just weird. That's all I would say. Just fucking weird that would. Okay. Don't really care about AP Shyvana. I think she's annoying for sure, but she never feels unfair. Skarner, he's really bad. He needs some changes. Silas buffed. E damage decrease, nice. Needed that. This shit hits super hard. Love the changes, honestly. Akali and Silas getting buffed. I mean, that is going to breathe some life into mid. In competitive. I mean, in solo queue, we already see champs like that being played, but in competitive, I think we don't really see that stuff performing well. Talon is slightly weaker than he should be. He's got a frustration point where his spells can sometimes betray him. Oh, okay. So his Q always lets him auto. Varus, base AD increase. Okay, buffing Varus. W on hit decreased. Okay, that's to avoid me dying to lock at Varus as much, but it's not going to change anything. I'm still going to die to it. Yasuo's buffed. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yasuo is extremely weak. Glad they're buffing him at least a little bit to make him somewhat viable. Yone is currently one of the weakest early laners in mid with their dominant late game. We like to flatten it slightly. Okay. They didn't really flatten it, did they? Oh, I see. They increased the cooldown of his ult. And they... Okay. Makes sense. Good damage on his Q. 20 damage on his main ability that he's spamming. That's pretty good. Level 9, 20 more damage. Adds up. He's going to Q like 3-4 times in a fight. Zed, Q 80 ratio decrease in damage. Increased at higher ranks. R cooldown increased. So... Yeah, I kind of agree with this point right here. We'd like if his strengths were expressed more in lane dominance and less about being a late game scaler. I do think Zed does actually scale really well, but he needs to get going. Like he's kind of like an unstoppable force when he gets fed, but it's hard for him to get fed, which is weird because he's an assassin. He's supposed to snowball. He's supposed to fall off later, but he never does. But he also doesn't get going early. You never really see Zed solo killing level 6 anymore. He's like not that strong. Death Stance is more uncommon, so they nerfed. Okay, nice. Kraken. Oh no. Oh no! They nerfed the shit out of Kraken. Oh, and they nerfed Lord Doms. No! Oh my. Oh my, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. They're nerfing. They nerfed Kraken, they nerfed Lord Doms by 5% pen, they nerfed Mortal by 580 to keep it in line with LDR. They nerfed Static Shift by giving it 100 more cost, so now it's only 200 gold cheaper than Kraken, in which case I think that Kraken is probably going to be pretty strong, but I'm not sure how this is going to feel, this 80% effectiveness for range champs. Interesting. Maybe actually, honestly, looking back at this, maybe Static is actually going to be better than Kraken. You know, because of these changes to Kraken. Okay, these are AP. These are AP. Okay, let's see the changes to boots. Let's hear it. Overall, the nerfs to tier 2 boots are meant to make them the correct buy once you actually want the move speed, instead of just the best early games, or sorry, the best early items in the game. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Ideally, building your first legendary would be the optimal way to play out your laning phase, but upgrading your move speed could be worthwhile if you need to dodge skill shots or close the gap on a ranged opponent. Definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. I think this has been a long time in the making, and every pro player knows that tier 2 boots rush is too strong, and this is good. This is very good. I'm very happy to see the Zerkers nerf. I don't really know anybody who goes Lucidity boots rush. That's a bit confusing. Supports don't, but Jack's top does. Jack's rushes Lucidity boots for this. Very, very rare. Steel. Wow. It's still a nerf. It's still a nerf. To be honest, it's still a nerf. 200 gold for 2%. This is probably the smallest nerf out of all these. Like these ones, it's like your stats went down and you got more expensive. Your stats went down. Your stats went down and you got more expensive. This one is like your stats went up and you got more expensive. So you're kind of like, you know, it could actually be good. Stats went down, same price. Stats stay the same price or more expensive. I can't talk. I'm brain dead. They're making Wits End viable as a for early game item. Okay, that could be worth looking into. Buffing Dark Harvest. Nerfing Fleet. Nerfing Fleet's early game. Okay. Let me think about this in the context of the champs that I play. Right, like I play like Jinx and Jhin. Jin's pretty much unaffected by these changes. Fleet nerf does hurt him a little bit, but I can always just go different rune. I would say the 80 carries that got hit the hardest are the ones that have to, you know, no matter what, you pretty much do have to rush Kraken Slayer, or Static. I mean that really sucks. I mean most 80 carries do have Kraken and LDR in their build, and it's a big hit. You know, like if you're gonna play Jinx, right? Jinx goes Kraken. I go Kraken and LDR almost every single game. This is two pretty big changes to Jinx. If you're gonna play other 80 carries that weren't really changed too much, another one would be like Ashe. They hate this. I think the 80 carries that weren't touched too much, you know, they were touched a lot less, would be like Misfortune, because she rushes BT, Draven, because he rushes BT. He you know, champions that skip these items right here that got pretty heavily nerfed, you're not really gonna feel it that much. I mean, yeah, 5% pen on LDR feels bad, but it's still an amazing item. Like it went from being unbelievably good to still really, really good. Yeah, maybe Caitlyn is gonna be fine. Wow, do you guys like look at this? Draven's win rate is just absolutely monstrous this patch. It's monstrous. I mean, he went from 50.4, and then he jumped up 1.3% win rate. Now he's one of the top win rate ADCs. Misfortune probably jumped up some win rate. Let's see. Haven't seen it. Okay, yeah, she also jumped up. So like I said, the 80 carries that like Jhin, Misfortune, Draven, these guys don't care about this nerf that much. This hurts, definitely. You're pretty much always going to have one of these items in your build. But this doesn't hurt because you don't build it. And I would say Jhin a little bit less than the other two because Jhin does go Fleet. So he did get nerfed twice. In a way. In a small way. Jinx is in D tier. Jesus. Brutal stuff.